Hi everyone, this is Vika with Healthy Hustle. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Today I'm going to be making so much sourdough starter that is, and so much dough, enough to make 10 sourdough pizzas, and also hopefully have enough sourdough starter left so I can make a bread loaf. I'm so excited about this long process because it's so much fun and brings me lots of joy, and I thought that I would bring you along this journey. So let's get into it.
So first we have to get our starter going to get it activated so it can double. I had like 3 jars of starter in my fridge, so I put them in this jar to see how much I had, and it was about 100 grams of hungry starter, or discard if you will. And then I put 100 grams water and 100 grams flour, mixed it, and it was ready to go. Put a rubber band on it, and then I had just a tiny bit of starter left, and I need that for future times. So I put some whole wheat flour, or you can use regular flour. I'm just experimenting, to be honest. 1 tablespoon of that, 1 tablespoon of water, mix it, and put that away in the fridge, and I will use that for next time. Look at this growth. It is a lot. Let's see how much this is. Let's see what we're working with. I need to make a lot of dough, a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be splitting my dough into 2 bowls because I'm going to be making a lot of dough. So let's go with the first. Let's see how much this is. I ideally need 150 grams of this starter. This will be 150, perfect. And then I need 150 in here as well. 150, perfect. Let's see how much this is. I'm trying to make a loaf of bread on top of this, on top of the pizzas. So let's see if I can. It depends on how much starter I have. So for a loaf of bread, you need 50 to 100 grams per loaf. And so as long as I am anywhere over 50 and under 100, I should be good for a 1 loaf. Set this aside. No waste, no waste. Let's put some warm water in here so we can reuse this water. Okay, still 487 on this one too. Okay, 487 water. 15 grams of salt per bowl. Salt. Grams of salt here. Now we need 750 grams of flour per bowl. Grams of flour, and now we mix both of these. Now we need 22 grams of olive oil. Here's what the dough looks right now. We'll give it another stir in just a second. I just want to stir the other bowl. Okay, same here, we need 22 grams of olive oil.
I'm going to scrape the sides and I'll come back. Okay, I cleaned up the sides a little bit, mixed the dough a little bit more, and here is what it's looking like right now. Like this. And we are going to cover these up with a towel, and we will set the timer for 30 minutes, and after that we will begin doing our stretch and folds. Now we will begin working on our bread loaf. We already have our starter here. We need 375 water. 11 grams of salt. And then we do 500 grams of flour. Mix it, mix it, mix it. So the other dough, we put olive oil in it because it is for pizzas. This is for a bread loaf, so we don't need to put any oil in here. And once, just like the pizza dough, we will cover this with a wet towel for 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes, and now we need to do our first set of stretch and folds for our pizza dough. Just going to take and pull one side and fold, turn it over, do another side and fold, turn it over, another side and fold, turn it over, and one side and fold and turn it over. This is what it's looking like now. Cover this one for another 30 minutes, and moving on to the second bowl. And now the second bowl, same thing. Stretch, put it down, turn the bowl, stretch, put it down, turn the bowl, grab it and stretch, put it down, turn the bowl, and last time, stretch, put it down. Going to put our towel on it as well and wait another 30 minutes. Now our bread loaf is ready for its stretch and folds as well. Going to grab our dough, take it and pull it and twist it, and grab it, put it and twist it, and one more time, grab it, pull it and twist it. And one more time if you feel like it. This, and it will become less sticky with each stretch and fold. I'm going to cover this up for 30 minutes as well.
For the second set of stretch and folds, I do the exact same thing as I did the first time. Stretch and I fold, stretch and I fold, I stretch and I fold, and then let that sit for 30 minutes again. And then during the third and fourth stretches, we will not be doing the stretches and folds like we were doing just now. We're going to be doing coil and folds. And we are just lifting the dough up and then setting it down. Lifting it up and setting it down. This dough is not as stretchy, maybe because it's a pizza dough, not sure. But usually it will stretch more. Whenever I'm making a bread loaf, I make dough for 2 breads, and then it stretches real nice because it's a lot more of it. After my last set of stretch and folds or coil and folds, people like to do one way or another. Sometimes I do, 2 sets of stretch and folds and then 2 sets of coil and folds. That's the best way that works for me. And once I finish, I put on my shower caps on all of these buckets and let it sit until morning time. It was like 11 p.m. when I finished this, and so we will leave it until the morning. In the morning, this was around 8:30 a.m. I floured my surface and took the dough out. This is the dough for my bread loaf. I took it out and started to stretch it into a rectangle and putting flour on it if I feel like it's being a little too sticky, and you can see all the bubbles. Very nice. And then I just fold it like that and then round it up, and then I just go in a candy cane motion and let it rest for 30 minutes covered. Meanwhile, my bread loaf dough is bench resting. I am getting started on the pizza. So these are going to be 10 balls, 300 grams each approximately. That's why you see kind of like little pieces on top, because it wasn't 300, it would have been like 230 grams. So I have to chop off another piece and make it 300 grams. And then I'm just tucking each corner of the dough to the center and then flipping the dough over and shaping into a little ball. And then I'm just placing it into my oiled pan so that they can go into the fridge after. I'm going to cover them up with my shower caps, and that's how they look. And I can't fit all 10 into the pan, so I'm doing 5 and 5. Once again, once I take it out, I divide it into 5 pieces, 300 grams each roughly, and putting them into my greased with olive oil pan. And then I'm going to be putting it back in the fridge until bake day. And then when it's bake day, you take the dough out for an hour or 2 hours before you want to work with the pizza, because it doesn't stretch as good when it's cold. So you want to make sure it's kind of not super cold, but I wouldn't say it should be very warm either. And your dough can sit in the fridge for 1 to 3 days before you bake it. Okay, the bread loaf is ready for our final shaping. So I just flip it over and just kind of tuck the sides in and flip it back over, and then do my little umbrella motion there. And then I flour my Benetton, put the dough inside, pinch the sides of the dough, cover it up, and put it in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours, depending how overproofed you want it, because it is alive, and also how flavorful you want it. Some people say if you keep it in the fridge for longer, it will have more of a sour flavor. I don't have any special tools that I score my bread with, so don't come for me. I already was preheating my oven for 450 degrees for about an hour. I put the bread on parchment paper, put it inside, put 1/4 cup of water under there to create that steam, and put it in the oven for 30 minutes covered. And let's see the result. Yes, I love to see it. It's always so different. It's like a piece of art, really. And so I put it in the oven for 15 more minutes uncovered, and I felt like it just needed a little bit of color, so on the sides, so I put it in the oven by itself for just 5 more minutes, and I feel like it added that colorfulness to it and made it perfect. Look at it. It's just so golden and so perfect, and I will reveal the inside of it. And I think I kept it. I feel like my dough always comes out a little bit overproofed. It always has big bubbles, but this one, I think it was perfect. It always tastes perfect for me, but this one looked perfect on the inside. So, and then later in the day, we took out our dough from the fridge so it can warm up a little bit. And look in the oil Tupperware. If you remember how small the balls were, they rose pretty good. And that's a good sign. That means the dough is alive and working. And there was Roy assembling the pizza. He was stretching out the dough and then putting all the toppings on it, and look how nice it looks. And we've built this stone brick oven outside in our backyard, and this is where we are cooking our pizza. So once we first slide it in there, it goes on about 3 or 4 minutes inside. Then you take it out, you rotate it, and you rotate it every minute after that. So 3 or 4 minutes at first, and then you rotate it every minute so that the sides can get nice and crispy. Not all of those pizzas were perfect. We were making 10, so we definitely had some room for error there, but still the pizza is really good. And here again, Roy is stretching the dough, working the dough, making it nice and flat, attempting to make a circle out of it, and then putting toppings. We had just regular pepperoni for the kids. We had mushrooms, onions, and peppers. We had spicy pepperoni, sausage. We had all types of different toppings. As soon as we brought out the first couple pizzas, everyone was just eating it up, and it was really good. The first few pieces are the best, always. Look at this amazing pizza. I want one now. And here we are sliding the pizza in the oven, and we are going to let it cook for 3 or 4 minutes at first, depending on how it looks and how hot the stone is. And once the 3 or 4 minutes are done, we take it out, rotate it, and put it back in, and we do that every minute. So 3 or 4 minutes first, and then 1 minute, rotate, 1 minute, rotate, 1 minute, rotate.
All right, y'all. And that was 10 pizzas and a sourdough loaf. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I worked really hard on the dough, and Roy worked really hard on the pizzas and the stone, and we just like making good, healthy, home-cooked meals, even if it's just pizza, okay? I don't know what they put in the dough at our local places, you know? Here I can control the ingredients and everything that we put into our bodies, and it makes me feel really good. Thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in following me on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Healthy Hustle Zone, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.